This is Numbers Dragons 2. It has 5 games in it. The original Number Dragon only had 1 game, this Number Change, which is also called Hidato. So let's go in and take a look. First we're going to take a look at the sound. Here's the credits, and let's look at the music list. Now in the music list, I can choose my music. I'll turn it off for a second. I can choose my music. I can set the volume. There's some anime. Okay, we'll go back and take a look. Here's Sudoku. I'll turn that off so you can hear me better. And here's our Sana's Dragon coming up. And we have 9 cages here. This is a cage of numbers. This is a cage of numbers. This is a cage of numbers, and there's 9 of them. In a cage, you have 1 through 9 numbers. In a row, you have 1 through 9 numbers. And in a column, you have 1 through 9 numbers. And this has an auto that will do an auto notation for you. Makes it a lot easier. Costs about 10%, but it's really worth it for at least the first time. So I click on here. These are your notes. And let's go ahead and play the game. I can erase an entry, I can play the game, or I can either add or delete a note. So let's take a look. First thing I'm going to do is I look in here and I say, oh, I can only be 1 here. It can only be 5. It can only be 7. And what else did I got? Oh, this can only be 8. This can only be 4, based on the auto notes. So let's go ahead and do 1. There's a 1 here. I'll put a 1 in there. And I can remove any ones that are in the row. I can remove any ones that are in the column. I can remove any runs that are in the cage, and there isn't any. So this is the only thing that helped me here. Let's go try this 7 over here. I can remove any 7 in the rows. I can remove any 7 in the columns. Any 7s inside the cage. That didn't help me either. Let's try the 5. Except I'm putting numbers in here. Here's a 5. So here's a 5. I'm going to go ahead and switch over to notes because I know that I can get rid of this 5 because it's in the column. I don't have any 5 in the rows, and I don't have any extra 5s in a cage. Let's go back to playing the game. Put a 7 here. Okay, I can get rid of this 7 because it's in the same row as this 7. I can get rid of this 7 because it's in the same column. Okay, let's go back to playing the game. Put a 9 in here. Okay. No 9s in this row. No 9s in this column. And no 9s in this cage. So that's the best I can do. And what else do I have? Okay. I have a 2 I can put here. And I can get rid of this 2. Get rid of this 2. No 2's here. Okay. Let's get the 6 here. Get rid of this 6, this 6, this 6. Okay. There's a 5. And I can get rid of this 5. I don't have any up there. I don't have any here. Don't have any in this cage. Okay. It's your 8 here. It's your 8 going there. Okay, I can get rid of this 8 over here. Get rid of that 8. Get rid of that 8. Get rid of that 8. And you can see as you start getting rid of things and just work your way through the game, then you solve Sudoku. And go back a bit. We did number chains, I think already. We haven't done. I think we did number chains. Let's go in here and do one real quick. Okay, number chains is the original game that was in Number Dragons. Both of those. And so I'm going to do a 2 here, a 3, 4, 5. And if you change your mind, you can undo your last move. which sometimes comes really in handy. Okay, it gave me a 9, it gave me a 10. I'm going to get this 12 here, 13, and then it's solved nice. This is KenKen. KenKen has cages also, but the cages can be of different shapes. So, and I've designated the cages by having them different colors. There's also a little grid in here, but it's a little hard to see, so I changed the colors. So this is a cage, and it has 3 numbers in it, and they have to add up to 6. So, and it can't be like 2, 2, and 2, because that truly would add up to 6. But the problem is you can't repeat 2s. You can't have the same number in any row or any column. And so we know this column has to have a 1, 2, 3, 4. This column has to 1, 2, 3, 4. This one has to be 1, 2, 3, 4. They all have to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and you can't repeat. You'll see as we go through. Now this doesn't have an operator, so we know that this is 3. It's a gift. We don't give you many. So turn the music back on if you want. Show it's still here. And the music stops right where you left off. So it doesn't restart over every time. That would be so annoying. But we're going to go ahead and use our clues here and play one of these games. I got a 4. So it's 4 plus something equals 9. And I get 3. So 3 gives me 7. So 2 more is going to be 9. And because I have 4, 3, and 2, this has to be 1. Because I have to have all the numbers in a column. Here I know that this is either going to be a 4 and a 1, or this could be a 1 and this could be a 4. So I don't know quite which it is yet, so I have to wait a little bit, get another clue. It didn't help me on this one very much, but I look up here and 3 times something equals 12. Well, that's got to be 4. And since I have 1, 3, 4, this has to be 2. So that's pretty good. And then 1 plus 2 is 3, so this has to be 3. Down here I have to have a 1 and a 4, but I don't know whether this is 1 and this is 4, or that's 4 and this is 1, so I get a clue. Okay, I've got 1 here. I know this has to be a 2, and something divided by 1 equals 2. This has to be a 2. Okay, so we're doing pretty good there. And that doesn't help me here, and it doesn't help me here. See, if I've got a 2 and a 3 and a 3 and a 2, and I know this has to be 4 and 1, but it doesn't help me in here, so I get another clue. Now I can solve all of them. I know that since I've got a 4 here, this has to be 1, and 1 plus 4 is 5. That's good. I know I have to have a 4 and a 1 in this column, but I can't have a 4 here because I already have a 4. So I know that 4 is going to go up there, and 1's going to go here. And I've solved the game. Yay. We've already played this one, so we're gonna move on. So that was KenKen. Here's cross sums. Choose which game you play by just clicking the new game. There's a number of patterns in here, and the AI will go ahead and solve the pattern. This is interesting. Let's go ahead and do this one. Okay, so here's a 5. I know that this has to be 5 because I've got a 5. This says 5 down is 1 down is 5. So there's my 5. It's a gift. Over here is another gift. Sort of a gift. Easy to figure out anyway. So now I need some clues. This doesn't help me. It tells me a little bit, not enough. Okay, here's this gives me 13, so I know that this has to be 4. If you put the wrong number in here, see how it changes the column? It says, hey, that's not quite right. Figure it out, guy. So you go and you fix that up. Okay, that's good. And then 4 plus 1 gives you 5. So this has to be 5. And then 5 plus 2 gives you 7. That's that. And then this gives you 9. So this has to be 3. Can't quite do that one yet. But get another clue. Okay, this gives you 4. So this has to be 5. And 5 plus 6 gives you 11. And so 11 from that is going to give you 9. And then 9 plus something equals 13, so that's going to be 4. And you're done. And you can go through, and of course, what your score is based on is how many elements you have in your pattern. So if I solve a bigger game, like this one, would have got me more points. That doesn't give me as many points. That gives me a few more points. you can go through and pick the game you feel like you want to pick. And I can't remember how many I put in here, but there's a lot. So, and when you put them in here, you're not going to get the same numbers every time because the AI will recalculate them. It doesn't always solve it the same way. And you go like, oh, how could that be? Well, it is because these numbers on the sides are not done first. They're done last after the numbers are populated. And so it's quite different every time. Again, there's not millions of combinations, but there are thousands. Okay, cross sums we did. And the last one is binary grid. It's probably one you haven't seen before. I ran across it and thought, oh, that'd be sort of fun to implement. I tried to improve the user interface so it would be fun and easy to use and simple. So what happened in here was you can only put in 0 and 1. But let's go back and look at the rules on this one, how to play. You can only put 0 and 1 in any of these columns. Now if you look at this, I have a 1 and a 1, so that has to be a 0. I can't have 3 1s, so it can't be 1, 1, 1. And over here I have a 0 and a 0. That has to be a 1. It can't be a 0 because I'd have too many in a row. You always have 1, 2, 3, 4 1s and 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros in a column. And you have 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros in a row and 1, 2, 3, 4 1s in a row. Let's go take a look and we'll start playing the game. Okay. These 2 zeros, I know that that's a 1 there, and this is going to be a 1 also. And you notice there's 2 things that help you. One is when you put the wrong number in, it changes color and says, no, that's not right. But you have to be careful, even though it helps you. I mean, you can get it back to nothing. The reason it helps you because it doesn't want you to make an error and then get too far down the line. But there are places where you could have either a 0 or a 1, and both of them are not correct. It doesn't tell you it's wrong, but it doesn't know it's wrong until you get further along. So we know we have 2 zeros. This has to be a 1 here. This is 2 zeros. This has to be a 1 here. This has to be a 0. This has to be a 0 because I can't have 3 1s in a row. Okay. Now I have 2 zeros. That has to be 1. And if you look in here, I've got 1, 2, 3 1s and 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. This has to be a 1. And the computer knew that, so it helped you out. Here I have a 0 and another 0 over here. This would have to be a 1 because you can't have 3 zeros in a row. Also, 2 zeros, this has to be a 1. So I'll put a 1 there. And okay, this has to be a 0 because I've got 2 1s. Okay, I don't know what goes here. This could either be a 1 or it could be a 0. That's a situation where the computer, well actually it says you can't do that because that would give you too many 1s, so we know that's a 0 for this row. And that's how the computer will help you out also. You have only 1 left and the computer will help you solve that. That's nice. Here I've got two 1s, so this is a 0. There's 2 1s here, that's a 0 over here. Took care of that. And then I have a 0 and a 0. This has to be a 1 because I can't have 3 zeros in a row. So I solved that. And I wasn't going to do all of this for you because it takes a while, but I'm doing it. Here's a 1 and a 1. This has to be a 0. And then I'm going to be able to show you the good, the bad, and the ugly of this game. Okay, let's see. Where's my next part? This starts getting hard when you get towards the end. Okay, this row is almost filled up. So I have 1, 2, this has to be a 1 because I already have 4 zeros. Took care of that. This one's almost filled up. So I have 4 zeros, this has to be a 1. I have 2 1s, that has to be a 0. This one's almost filled up, and so I have 4 1s, this has to be a 0. This one's almost filled up, and I've got 1, 2, 3 1s, so this has to be another 1. And then this one I have 4 1s, this has to be a 0. And then I'm finished with this. So this one I can't tell from the row, but from the columns, I've got 1, 2, 3 1s, but I don't have a 4th one. This has to be a 1. 2 1s means this has to be a 0. And so you've won this game.